Hello, Dr. Elmer, Advanced Neurospinal Solutions and Functional Orthokinetics. I've been asked to do a video series. I just did a little video relating to the sagittal plane and the flexion extension system. The flexion extension system allows us to have the curves. We want the curves in the proper proportions from a geometric point of view, so that geometrically it allows us the calculus and analytic geometry that will allow this system to function with a maximum amount of movement along with the greatest amount of stability, and that we want those things to come together. So as we look at this, we're going to talk about coupled motion, which is one of the major outcomes of this curved system. And if you ask a medical doctor or a chiropractor or a biomechanics guy at what is coupled motion, you're usually going to hear from them that lateral flexion and rotation go together, and that is an accurate description. It's a textbook answer. They get a gold star on their forehead. But I always ask after that, why do we have coupled motion? What is it really about? Why is it so valuable and important? And then they kind of stare, because the books that they read, that are totally nauseating by the way, don't give the reason why. The reason why is the curved system creates coupling, which means we're going to convert lateral flexion energy into rotation, because the big muscles of our back relate to lateral flexion, not rotation. The little muscles that are around the spine that we tend to call rotators don't work that way. They are stabilizers, they are gear shifters. In fact, they're entitled to Gearbox in the Spinal Engine by Sergei Grasovetsky. In the process of putting that curved system back together, we're able to convert powerful lateral flexion into powerful rotation. So if I borrow my assistant here, and we look at the back of Jenna. Go ahead and face that way. Very good. Okay, she has a trapezius muscle that comes from the skull out to the shoulders, and then it comes down to T7, and then from here we got the latissimus dorsi that comes from the shoulders here, and comes down to L3, and then you got the quadratus lumborum muscles that go from the ribs down to the pelvis. They are powerful lateral flexors, broad-based lateral flexors that are attached to great lever arms. Look at those broad shoulders. She looks like a swimmer, right? And so that whenever she laterally flexes, it's a powerful potential for creating rotation. If she has curve in her lower back, when she left lateral flexes, it's going to convert the left lateral flexion into clockwise rotation every time, if she has that proper curve. If she has a diminishment of that curve, that conversion becomes less and less effective, like a dimmer switch. If it's reversed, it can literally create the opposite. This is what we see in what we call red queen phenomenon in scoliosis. Because of a reversal of that curve, it becomes unstable and it collapses, but it's that reversal that causes a reversal of the coupling, which it causes the mechanical opposing action. The brain wants to make that, and it gets that. And so the system is now functioning opposite, and it gets wired that way. The Hebbian principle is that which fires together wires together. And if we keep on doing the same behavior over and over again, then it's going to wire that way within the nervous system reflexogenically. And so that's why it's so valuable and important to put that curve back in to its optimal position. And we'll get into how to analyze that and determine if we truly have that curve. But we have the coupling system up in this area too, which is the opposite of what's down below. Why? Because we want to get a counter rotation, a diadocal kinetic type movement, alternating shoulders and hips. Go ahead and face the camera here. Bring your legs around. There you go. Okay, so that when the hips go one way, the shoulders go in the opposite direction. That is walking. We want to be able to walk with a contralateral contralateral system, and that's the ultimate end game of creating this system. So we're creating it orthopedically, we're creating it biomechanically, and from a structural point of view, we're also creating it neurologically. But when we do that, we're creating it in a reflexogenic type way, not in I'm thinking about it, because that would be voluntary. That would be what we call pyramidal. We're going to get more into that, the nervous systems that are involved, because we want it reflexogenically. We don't want to have to walk and think about walking. We want the involuntary nervous system, which is the system that thinks you don't think it. It's the brainstem, cerebellum, and the extrapyramidal nervous system, and it's connected to muscles that are involuntary, and we're going to go into that. But the coupling system, strangely enough, when you read literature relating to biomechanics, coupling is called healthy spinal motion. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that cool? Because it also generates the autonomics that go with it, right? If Jana, which 8 weeks ago she was crawling for the first time. She's very young. But when she was crawling, she was creating the demand, the need for those muscles to get blood flow, which demands the autonomic nervous system to engage. It needs the sympathetic nervous system to improve the blood flow, not only the amount, but the perfusion rates and that, the efficiency in that. It needed to create all those things so that it could grow and change and become more efficient. And so as the autonomic nervous system was engaged, particularly sympathetic, then when she went to sleep at night, it had to reverse and hit the parasympathetic nervous system so that it would recuperate and regenerate those tissues, because she's going to do it again tomorrow. And so we got to make sure that it's not breaking down. And so we wire the autonomics into that system. That's why when we go through the extrapyramidal nervous system, we're going to be talking about the tracks that are involved. 2 of them are autonomic, which is really cool. But it's stuff that you don't think about. It thinks you. So that's coupling in brief, and why, frankly, I'm so excited about coupling. Besides my wife, I'm really excited about coupling with her. But in the clinic, in dealing with putting spines back together, coupling is the major reason, and coupling creates the healthy nervous system that runs the whole thing. Thanks.